And now I'd like to welcome our valedictorian, Stuart McKee.
Hey, did you guys hear about that circus fire? It was intense. Alright, so now that you guys hate me, I'm gonna actually begin my speech. It's actually kind of strange to be standing up here right now because had you gone back in time 10 years when I was in primary school and told me that I'd be standing here addressing you as valedictorian, I wouldn't believe you at all. Because, to be honest, my childhood was very difficult. Not for family reasons, but personal reasons. I had a pretty bad case of ADHD, some temper problems, didn't really learn very well, and that made it very difficult for me to be able to be part of a school program. But there's a lot of people that I have to thank for allowing me to be able to be standing here right now addressing you all as I am. And I wish I had the time to thank everybody, but today I'm just going to thank a couple people. So first, I'd like to thank someone who somehow managed to deal with me during my primary years, and that would be Ms. Kathy Clark. And I'm not sure she's here today, but hopefully she'll be able to see this. She was my teacher for most of primary school as I was placed in the special program given my... Yes, but she was more than just a teacher to me. She was like a second mother. And to her, I was a second son. And it was a kind of relationship that I share here with all the faculty at Benning Oaks. And something that I really can't describe with words alone. I feel like I'm not doing it the service it deserves by just coming up here and talking about it. It's something you really have to experience for yourself, but it was because of her that I was able to actually interact in the school environment in the first place. So I have her to thank for the reason I'm wearing these and this. I'm about to get one of those. But another woman I'd like to thank is Paulette Huff. She's a woman who has also been able to put up with me for coming up on 8 years now. She was my piano instructor until very recently. College kind of doesn't really allow for much free time when it's 3 hours away, but regardless, she taught me two very important lessons coming into high school, and that was persistence and discipline. Two things I lacked. Yeah. But the first lesson, persistence, was something I think was the most important, and that was that I'm sure anybody here who's played a musical instrument knows how difficult it can be to play a song, especially on your first time. I can't tell you how many months I spent just trying to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But it was persistence that allowed me to get through that. It was persistence that allowed me to finally get on to the book I am currently, which is book 4, and I'm certain none of you know what that means, but just know that I'm pretty far. But really, in life, persistence can get you incredibly far. Sometimes life can be just difficult, and I know that firsthand, but if you just sit down and let it beat on you, then you're not going to get anywhere. If you just give up and quit, and if I had just given up and quit, my mother had given up and quit, I don't know where I'd be, but I sure as hell wouldn't be here. And the second lesson she taught me was discipline, something I had an extreme problem with as a child, and a little bit today. And that was following the rules. Anyone who has ever heard of the Suzuki method of piano teaching knows that, to put it lightly, they kind of chew your ass out a lot. It's always sit up straight, knuckles over the keys, standing alone. And I'm kind of thankful that she was kind of a hard ass on me because it gave me an appreciation for rules. It gave me an appreciation to understand about consequences, about how you kind of do have to follow what other people tell you to, and sometimes you don't, but in the end, I was able to see clear consequences, both good and bad, for following what I was told. And now we're going to move on to someone a little more personal to me, and that would be my own father. He taught me a very, very valuable lesson that I'm sure a lot of us have been taught, and that was how to be a man. And that kind of goes along with the persistence aspect in that, as a man, it's not always about what happens to you, but it's about how you react. And I can tell you I reacted pretty badly when I was a child, and I'd like to thank him for being able to teach me what he knows about not punching people in the face, or encouraging them when they deserved it. But regardless, it was because of him that I was able to keep my cool as it was. I was able to keep my personality at a very low temperature, as it were. But he taught me that you can't let life take control of you. You have to take control of life. If something in your life doesn't fit your needs, or if you don't like something that's going on, then it's your responsibility to change it. You can't always expect anyone else to come along and change it for you. And it's because of that lesson that I've been taught that I'm here today as a valedictorian. So, thank you. I know I'm using a lot of your time, but there's one last person I'd like to thank. That would be my mother. I really don't know how you did it. I really don't. I gave you like trouble from the beginning I came out of the womb. I don't know how you didn't manage to strangle me, honestly. She fought teachers, school boards, tutors, daycare, whoever hits daycares. But she fought for my way to be able to be taught. And without her having fought for me, and I know the whole thing about coming up and pushing life forward on your own, but it was because of her that I was able to even get into a school in the first place. Without her, I'd probably just be homeschooled. And with her busy schedule at the time, I don't think I would have gotten very far. No offense to her, but I'm a busy woman. But it was because of her die-hard attitude that I was even able to come to Benning Oaks. And I'd like to segue very cleanly into Benning Oaks, and maybe eventually end this speech, which you probably all are sick of by now. But again, it's hard to put Benning Oaks into words because it's more about the experience that you have in Benning Oaks. It's the relationship you have with everyone. It's something you don't get in public school very often because it's very by the book. It's very cut and clean. There's no really interaction between other teachers and students because you don't really have the time. You're too busy with school. But Benning Oaks is more than that. It's a big family, like a lot of us have explained. And I think it's because of that relationship that we have with our teachers that they're actually able to teach us more efficiently, because if a student is having problems in class and that teacher knows who they are, you know, what they've struggled with and who they are, then I think they can cater their teaching styles to actually help them and bring them up to the rest of the class, which I think is brilliant. I wish a lot of public schools would incorporate that sort of relationship. But it's, like I said, it's a big family that really can't be put into words. If I would put it into words, we'd be here a lot longer. I don't want to do that, because I'm tired. But to end this presentation, speech, whatever, I'd like to butcher the works of John Donne, and that is that no man is an island, every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a cloud be washed away by the sea, then England is the less. As in the manner of thy friends, if a man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind. Therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Thank you.